It's the Behind the Shade show.
Ladies and gentlemen, do you guys remember what was going on between Andrew Tate and Sneako? Do you guys remember this?
You know, people will say, you know, he's not top G anymore. He can't fight anymore, etc. When I was in my prime, I did it.
Yeah.
So I get to live and sleep peacefully at night, knowing that when I was 20 something and I was in my prime, I used my youth and I did it.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm
or,
not,
or Sneako will say he's top G.
oh, no.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Can I ask you about that?
Sure.
I'm curious because you guys have had I don't know how much time you've had together, but I remember a long time ago, you guys, I think he went to Romania.
Yeah. He wanted to be me and he copied me for a very long time. And then eventually via Fresh and Fit, he came out to see me and then he was really weird. So I stopped talking to him. And for years, I didn't talk to him because he's done many very weird things. And the only reason I'm not telling the story is because he loves attention so much that he wants me to tell the story.
Fair.
That's just who he is.
Fair.
And he's a weirdo. And I refuse to talk to him because he's very strange. And basically, I think his name is pretty appropriate. You know, anyone who calls himself Sneaky. Hi, my name's Sneaky.
To be fair,
what man walks around and says, hi, my name's Sneaky, be my friend? It's like, no. So anyway, he's a weirdo. And then I got to Miami.
To be fair, I like the guy. He's always been nice to me.
Of course. Yeah. And he will be until it benefits him not to be. And I got to Miami and I never met Nick or Clav before. And I was speaking to them and they're like, can we come? And they were begging to bring Sneako. And I'm a nice guy. So I was like, sure. Like, I haven't spoke to him in years. Like, how much damage can he really do?
Yeah.
He's not going to cause an international incident in a nightclub. He's just some dickhead. Like, let him come, whatever. You know, and only a few days before that, he was giving me for like, I defended Trump in Venezuela.
Yeah. And the might is right thing.
Yeah. And Duel sponsored the Misfits, which sponsored my fight. So he's constantly making videos insulting me. Andrew sold out because he's a gambling company's on his shorts. Andrew sold out because of Venezuela. Andrew just being a little prick on the internet, like a little girl crying about me all the time. Because that's how he gets clicks, my name, or he doesn't get clicks. And I was still like, I'll just bring him, whatever. And then he did this. And now he's once again trying to get clicks off my name.
So you have two men who are arguing about their relationship with each other. You have Andrew Tate calling Sneako weird. You have Sneako saying things about Andrew Tate. But what's interesting, at least on the outside looking in, is that these two are actually more similar than I believe they even acknowledge. And they both kind of feed off of each other, but then something kind of strange happened. They began to drift apart. Romance was no longer in the air. And for the men out there, there's this interesting dynamic when you have a group of men who are united, not necessarily and only because they enjoy each other's company, but because they have a common dislike. And when it comes to these guys, they have a common dislike of men that they view weaker, women that they view as inferior, so on and so forth. But when that common dislike is no longer common, sometimes you have one person who's making the changes, they begin to get pushed out. And once they begin to get pushed out, you have some of the remaining men in that group, they start to say things like this.
A few years ago, there was a streamer, I think everybody knows who I'm talking about, who was obsessed with me. If I got a girl's number on Fresh and Fit, he tried to do the same thing. Every single thing I did, he copied verbatim. He tried to be me, literally be me. He was obsessed with me. And I thought he just wanted to be famous, and that turned out to be a homosexual obsession. He came to Romania with two people who I respect very much, Myron and Fresh, great guys. They managed to convince me to allow him to come. He came there and started acting really fruity and really weird. He started telling me that he had this cuck thing that was exposed. He had this big cuck scandal. And he asked me what I think about cucking and if it's normal to explore your sexuality and if I've ever tried it. And I said, look, I'm older than you, bro, and I've never tried that. I don't think that's normal. And then he started saying, isn't it normal just to try new things? Don't you think it's normal to be curious? How do you know if you're really gay or not unless you tried being gay? And then I realized he was coming on to me. And when I realized he was coming on to me, I thought the best thing I can do is just not talk to him anymore. Because I don't like this gossip girl stuff. I don't want to be a drama merchant like he is. My brand isn't sitting online and constantly insulting other people like his is. So I thought, let me just cut him off. He's obsessed with me.
That is
He's
your
a bit
brand.
weird. I don't want to ruin the guy's career. Let me just go his own separate way. Since then, he has mentioned me every single day in every single stream he does. Andrew Tate wore a gambling t-shirt. Andrew Tate drove a car. Andrew Tate drunk coffee. Andrew Tate this. Andrew Tate that. He is obsessed with me. And if you see the way he talks about me, you can see in his eyes. It's not because he is morally superior. It's not because he just wants clicks. It's a homosexual rage.
Wow.
Suppressed.
Wow.
Guys, I don't like saying it. I feel uncomfortable making this
guy's
video.
crazy.
I wanted all of this to go away. I just said, no, I'm not going to fuck you, bro. Get out. And just tried to ignore the kid for 5 fucking years. Here we are 5 years later. He won't stop talking about me. And if you watch him do it, guys, watch him do it and look in his eyes while he does it. It is a suppressed homosexual rage.
So now he's gay. Now Sneako is gay. Andrew's saying that Sneako was trying to come on to him during that entire time. Notice that when they're all close, that this didn't come up. It wasn't an issue apparently, right? Now that there's fragmentation in the group, you have these things coming up. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of any time you want to shame someone. You mention their sexuality. Like, how many times do you hear a girl say, oh, the reason why he doesn't date me is because I'm too much woman for him. Or he doesn't date this kind of one because he's gay. And then on the flip side, you hear men say, oh, the reason why she's not with me is because she's a gold digger. She's this, she's that. It's very easy to dismiss someone by questioning their sexuality and making all this speculation. But when you start to speculate on someone's sexuality or someone's behavior, which is something that they've always demonstrated for a number of years because it's who they are, you can't go from accepting it to now, well, this doesn't serve me anymore, so let me expose it. Is he gay? Maybe, maybe not. But what we do know is that you were tolerating the person for however long you did. And then as soon as there was a falling out, you decide to talk all this madness. That's why it comes across as disingenuous. That's why it comes across as insincere. That's why it comes across as phony, because this is something that you're accusing Sneako of doing, Andrew Tate, that is a part of who he is. Maybe he just became comfortable enough. He said, okay, this is who I am, guys. Are you willing to accept it? It could be that. A second thing could be that he was always this way. Because to be honest, Sneako was the one that didn't really fit that group. I'm going to be 100% honest with you guys. He was someone that was much younger. He was someone that was very impressionable, if you know early Sneako days. And he actually seemed like he wanted to make some changes. But some of these other guys were living a lifestyle that he was no longer aligned with, which is why you saw the separation unfold, and now things have hit the fan. And what can you do? What's one of the easiest ways to destroy a man's reputation and his aura? Question his money and his sexuality. And they're doing both. They're doing both. It wasn't like he wasn't always this way. Maybe he was, and he most likely was this way. But what's interesting is to hear now they no longer want to be around it. It's too much for us to handle all of a sudden in 2026. Oh my God, I need to run away from this. So this is the takeaway that we can learn. 1, make sure you're aligned in the circle of friends that you keep around you. 2, if you're united mostly by a common dislike of something, you're going to run into problems once that dislike no longer is relevant to you. And the third thing, there's going to be people around you that don't want you to change or grow. Because once you begin to grow, your growth is going to highlight insecurities or their demons inside of others. And when that happens, some people will fight and some people will take flight and some people will do both. And you have to be prepared for the changes, because just because you make changes within yourselves doesn't mean that the world around you or the world that you're currently living in is going to stay still. It's going to change along with you because your perception of it has changed. And as your perception of it changes, people's perception of you may change. They may not like the person that you're becoming because you're no longer cool to them. You no longer drink, you no longer smoke, you no longer womanize, you no longer take money from men. You stop doing all of these things because you want better. But as you want better, you're going to want to surround yourself with better. And there's some people that don't want that for you. So they will resist, they will fight, and they will try to tear down, hoping you go back to who you were so they could be comfortable as you remain uncomfortable. Don't be uncomfortable for other people's comfort. Be comfortable for you and find people that's going to be comfortable with the new you.